Hello, everybody. So, if you've been listening to my yellings and scrambling to talk to make full sentence without pausing for 5 seconds, I really appreciate it. So, if you are listening to this and you've been listening, I just want to make something clear about what I stand for. In terms of what freedom means to me. So what I stand for. Why this podcast? Why am I doing this podcast? And I know I have spoken quite a few about it. But so this is it. I'm not just against government. I am against all forms of compulsion. I am against all forms of compulsion. Whether government as an entity, which in its entirety, 100% government is compulsion. So we need to get rid of it. 2, family. There can be compulsion in the family. For example, our parents can threaten us. If you don't do this, obviously we're not going to feed you. We're going to take care of you. And we fall into compliance. We're kids. Where are we going to go? That is a form of compulsion. Forcing us to believe something. Forcing something down our throat as well. Is a form of indoctrination. Now, third, culture. There can be force through culture. Through, for example, let's say you want to marry someone out of your culture. This is very common in Africa. I encountered that personally. So marrying somebody out of your culture, your people around you, your parents can say, no, you have to marry from our culture. That, and if you don't, we are not going to take care of you. Not take care of you. Basically, everybody, you'll be ostracized. Nobody will talk to you. Nobody will give you love. You could, maybe, I don't know if that's a good example, though, because you could decide not to participate, right? You could decide not to participate in the culture and go your way. But I personally know of many families that will not allow their female children to marry out of their own culture. That is a form of compulsion. Personally, I know this family, and the kids, they are grown up, they are this particular one, she's at least 20 years old, but she's completely dependent on the family. And so she literally has to. It's like her marriage is completely out of her hand. She can only marry someone that her parents approve of, whether or not she likes him. That is a form of compulsion. What is she going to do? Go and live on the street? Yeah, I guess that's an option. But it's not easy as a child. 20 years old is not a child. But growing up in Africa as a woman, completely dependent. For example, this particular one, completely dependent on your family for survival, and having a fear of ostracism. I hope I'm saying that right. Basically, if you decide to go otherwise, everybody will disown you. You'll be cursed. You are no longer regarded as part of the culture. It is very harsh. There are other customs in Nigeria that will never ever allow their children, whether male or female, to marry from one other culture. One really prominent one is Igbira and Igala or Idoma. They hardly intermarry because of old rivalry. And if you do, yeah, consider yourself ostracized forcefully. So there is a form of coercion, form of compulsion in culture as well. So those are what I'm against. Not just those three that I mentioned, and of course religion. Making it 4. So religion, culture, family, right? Religion, culture, family, government. Government in its entirety is 4. So that's what I'm against. I'm against all forms of compulsion, wherever you find them. I am for voluntarism. So in case, sometimes I'm drifting, talking about government all the time, I just want my listener to know I'm not just babbling about my animosity towards government. I'm against all forms of force, in whatever form, in whatever shape they come from. The initiation of force, the threat of force. Now, the biggest threat that is a product of our human thinking is government. So maybe I have a reason why I might talk more about government than anything else. Government is the biggest threat among all the following that I mentioned. With culture, if there is voluntarism, with time, with education, all that can reduce. Just like it's getting a lot better in cultures, especially in Africa now. You can marry out of your culture, that kind of thing. People are accepting that. So with voluntarism, all of that goes away. But government doesn't change. The government could do all kinds of bad stuff, but they will still be there. We can't change them. We don't want to change them, rather. So that's why it's the biggest threat. And it's the one that is most powerful. Who owns the most powerful weapons on earth? Government. Who killed more people on earth? Government. So yeah. That's why maybe I might talk more about government, because government is the biggest threat. So I hope I made that clear. I will appreciate any insight. Remember, anything I mention, all of my podcasts, I always welcome comments, criticisms, anything, suggestions, all of that. Thank you very much for listening, and I will talk to you soon.